Pippa Stevens is at a critical U.S. copper refinery with the details. Pippa?
Hey, John. So when you think about mining, you probably think big open pit like where we were earlier at the Kennecott copper mine. But now we're in their refinery, which is as critical as the mine itself. It doesn't matter how many reserves you have of copper. If you can't turn it into a viable end product, it is a whole lot less valuable. So once the ore arrives here, it's already gone through the crusher, concentrator, and smelter, but it's still got to get up to 99.99% copper. Anode sheets are dropped into a chemical solution to start that process. They stay in the bath for about 10 days before heading over to the cathode stripper, which is where I am right now. At that point, two cathodes, each weighing 300 pounds, are separated from the stainless steel and then ready to be shipped out. Now, copper is by far Kennecott's largest product, but it also mines other things, including gold, silver, and tellurium. That's what this is. It's another critical mineral that is key for solar panels, and Rio Tinto is one of just 2 domestic producers. So all told, this refinery supplies about 20% of U.S. refined copper. And then with the accompanying smelter as well, that's one of just 2 in the U.S. So, John, with this broad focus on vamping up the U.S. mining industry, projects like this one that are vertically integrated are becoming increasingly important.
Now, Pippa, I imagine investors need to be at least aware of the possibility of oversupply. So what should they think about as the main demand drivers here? Is it just general construction and GDP growth? To what extent do data centers and technology play into that?
Yeah, so data centers are a big driver here for copper, but importantly, they're just the latest driver. What is really boosting copper and where the momentum really is on the energy transition. Copper is the backbone of electrification. Think about all the wires, all the conductivity, all of that requires a lot of copper. And then you add AI on top of that, and that's why there are a lot of people saying we simply will not have enough supply. But of course, you do as an investor have to think about oversupply concerns, and there is also the question of recycling. That is seen as an important source of copper looking forward. But the problem is that a lot of these applications, the copper is used for a very long time. An ICE vehicle, 18 years, in a house, maybe more than 40 years. And so that is not an immediate source of extra supply. And so that's why with all this AI momentum, people are saying, got to have a lot more of that Dr. Copper.
Quickly, what about potential kinks in the supply chain? Could a lack of access to rare earths actually affect the ability of people who want to use copper to actually have a use for it?
Yeah, so when you look at all of these very specialized supply chains like rare earths or copper, the ability to access it is what's so important. And that's why the administration is trying to ramp up domestic output.
Got it. Pippa Stevens, great shot. Thank you.